to the Golden Hour and the Manifest to Live Life Golden podcast and YouTube show. I'm Golden Duffy, your host, and I took a really long break. I did not anticipate taking a break for as long as I did. My last show was in August. My family was coming in, and then I started school, taking a couple classes for interior design, and that just rocked my world, to be honest with you. I could not fit anything else in. I had 10 to 20 hours of homework every week, and it kind of brought me to my knees in a good way. Like, I learned so many things. One of the reasons that I felt compelled to come back at this point, school is over right now, so I actually have time in my schedule to do this. And I got some feedback on my Spotify review, and it looks like there's like 24 different countries listening to the show. And that kind of floored me. It really did, to realize that even though I've taken a break, everyone else is still listening, and that these messages do matter. And they matter to me too. Like, I realized, as far as me processing things, this show really helps me to do that, because whether you realize it or not, I am receiving downloads from infinite intelligence. I'm not saying that to brag. Many times there are like words coming through me that I will listen back to the show and I'll go, I don't even remember saying that. Like, it's pretty wild. And if you read my posts every day, I put a post up every single day on Facebook and Instagram. And if you read my posts every day, you'll see, like, I just literally sit down. And I'm not even sitting down. I'm like getting ready in the morning, getting our coffee ready, getting our lunches ready. And I just kind of say, I open myself up and I say, what do you have today? What do people need to hear today? And I get a sentence, and that sentence comes, and then it just comes out of me, like flows out my fingers, and I share that every single day. And that is what they like to refer to as channeled messages. I've never really taken on the persona of a channeler, just because I feel like some people are uncomfortable with that. In fact, I have been uncomfortable with that in the past, but I think this is the year for me to embrace the fact that I am receiving messages for people, and I am in a channeled state when this happens. And I just really want to claim that. I think it's a good time to do that. So where's the show going? A lot of things were happening. If you've been following it all, I did actually create a podcast studio with my husband in our office building. We designed and built the whole thing, and it's absolutely beautiful. But that's not where I'm going to be recording. I have this beautiful office now, which I did not have before. So I have my own space. And instead of trying to rent that space when other people aren't there, I'm just going to stay where I am. I'm going to stay put in this beautiful office that I designed. And I'm going to be joined by guests, my husband. We've got a lot of plans for this year. So this upcoming next year in January. So this is my 200th episode, and I thought it would be appropriate if I did this one on my own. I got back in touch with you all, told you how much I love you all, and how you have made a difference in my life just by listening. So many of you reach out to me in appreciation for the messages, and I really do. It really does matter to me. And it's not like about patting myself on the back or an ego-centered place. It's about my mission here to share messages that improve people's lives, that get you off the roller coaster. There's been so many times when in our own lives where we've been challenged, and we've been in states of fear, and we've been in states of like fight or flight, and wanting to run away and wanting to escape and all of that. And we found a different way. We found a different way to do this, where we are in higher frequencies of joy, where our lives have turned towards abundance, where we are these creators, and we are really, really capitalizing on that relationship, the relationship that we have with infinite intelligence, God, source, whatever you like to call it. I do tend to steer away from the word God, just because people have their own connotations with that. And infinite intelligence to me is just so all encompassing. I think we can all agree that there is an intelligence here that we are connected to. I think that if you have done any kind of study or any kind of spiritual deep dives, like we come to that knowledge, we come to that knowing, and we get the guidance, and then our lives become something very special. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for all of us, for our lives to be really special, for us to wake up every day and realize that we have the ability to command this beautiful universe to work with us, to co-create with us. That's such an important thing to know and to live from. So I've recently been really working very, very deeply in my own spirituality. Recently returned to church, which was not something that I thought was going to happen. But my husband and I have really been wanting, really craving community, really craving more of a relationship and more of a time, right? Like a special time where we just go and sit and be with the presence of God. So, we've just started that. I believe that we found, and I'll share this story. Maybe I'll share it today, but it was kind of a funny unfolding how we found the church that I believe is the church that we're going to call our home. Life is it just kind of blows me away sometimes. It really does. I really never saw myself going back to church. So, surprises all the time. I'm always evolving. I'm always changing, and I'm not opposed to sharing that. I really am not, because I think it's important as human beings that we are in this evolution together and that we are facing these things together. Like our relationships and the things that we learn together and grow together, I think it's the whole point. It's the whole point, right? To be with one another, to love one another, to grow with one another, and to not feel like we're alone, because you are not alone. If you listen to my show, I hope and pray, and I really set the intention that you will feel my presence with you and feel this infinite intelligent presence through me, so that you know that you're never alone, and that no matter what you are facing, what craziness you are facing, because this is a crazy experience, right? Like this ride is like it's like none other. You know, I've heard this described as like Earth School, or I've heard it described as like a place that we come where it's like we take on these incredible lessons and pathways, and because of that, we become so much more, we expand into so much more. And I really do believe that. So if we can find an anchor, if we can find something to hold on to get us through this, to get us to remember, then our lives are going to be better. And the people that we come across, their lives are going to be better for meeting us. Because if we're in a higher vibrational state, if we're in the higher frequencies of appreciation and love, which are the highest frequencies you can be in, you're gonna touch people in a different way. They are gonna feel you, and while they are talking to you, or while they are hugging you, or while they are around you, they're gonna feel better, and they're gonna remember that they can be lighthearted and that they can be in joy. And I think if we can do that, we can create magic in this world. You know, in this world where people focus on way too much of the stuff that's not going right, and who said what, and this person said that, and the drama of the politics and all of the craziness. If we can take our eyes off of that and start going within and focusing within and improving our frequency, that's what it's really about, is improving our ability to focus, right? Because if you're not improving your ability to focus, you're letting yourself just focus on whatever comes in front of you. You're not becoming deliberate about what you create. You are literally in a default mode. Same thing with your mind. If you are not training your mind, if you are not focused on where your mind is going, and you just get wrapped up and you get unconscious and you just create through triggers and anger and frustration, you're going to create those scenarios in your life that make you feel more like that. It's very, very simple, but it's not easy, I'll say. And that could be a belief system of mine for sure. But the mechanism of the mind is to look for problems and to look for reasons to be dissatisfied. So we are overcoming a mechanism of our very own mind, and we are training ourselves to experience something new, something different. We are reaching higher. And we do that through quieting our mind, meditation. I have a lot of great meditations on YouTube. I am going to commit to you to making more of these frequency meditations, healing meditations, things like that. for some specific reasons in my own life that I'll share in a sec. But getting into those higher states of frequency, like first thing in the morning. Recently, I've been really listening to Florence Scovel Shinn. I absolutely love her. She was a speaker, a woman speaker back in like the 1940s. I think I've shared about her before, the game of life and how to play it. And there's some YouTubes. It's not her voice. Sometimes it's like a recording, but it's like these affirmations that just literally light me up. They light me up. And I've been making commands, commanding the universe, commanding parking spaces, commanding that my body is in optimal shape, commanding that my mind is in a higher frequency place, that I am filled with love and appreciation. And everywhere I go, I just feel this delight. It's like, it was funny. I pulled into our office this morning and my husband and I met at the same time. There was like a little networking breakfast and we wanted to show up at the same time to go to it. And I was getting out my car and he's like, "What are you smiling about?" And I was like, "I'm just so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful to be walking this earth with this incredible man and to have these wonderful children and just to have my life going in such a positive direction." Now, is everything perfect right now? No, there's a lot going on in this experience for us, like a lot of uncertainty and a lot of risk and even some injury. And we're dealing with it. We're navigating it in a way that is allowing us to show ourselves more, to show who we are more. And you do that when you just take the challenges and you got to process. So I'll share actually what recently just happened to my husband. He was at a job site and there was a bench press and he was feeling lighthearted and he was feeling frisky and he decided to pop down on this bench press and bench press like 200 pounds. He was not warmed up. He was not ready to do it. And he ended up doing a full tear of his tendon in his shoulder. So for the last couple of weeks, he's been in a lot of pain. We finally got the MRI and found out that it's a full tear. So the idea is that a full tear needs surgery. So we went and we met with the surgeon and my husband went through a process. I think we both did, but he definitely went through it really, just being injured. And he's always been a hands-on guy. He fixes things. He, jumps into the job sites when he needs to. So being injured like that is just, it's devastating to him. It's really devastating. And to realize that, his body is got this broken piece and he's in a lot of pain and he couldn't sleep at night. And it's just been a journey the last couple of weeks. So we're really deep diving into healing his body without surgery. And is it possible? And everything that we've done and everything that we've researched, leaning really heavily on like Joe Dispenza's teachings and all of the scientists and doctors that we know that facilitate this type of belief system that the body has a mechanism to heal. And then going deep dives on YouTube for, physical therapists and doctors that actually, create therapy for people with his injury so that they don't actually have to have surgery. The biggest thing that he has to do is he has to wrap his brain around the fact that he is not broken, that he absolutely can heal, and he has to go all in on that. And that's the challenge for most people, is focusing and attention on what you want and going full force on that. And then keeping yourself in these higher frequency places, no matter what you're experiencing, whether it's injury, whether it's disease. We were watching a show recently on fasting, and it was these two boys on YouTube who fasted for 40 days. They were basically trying to prove that you could heal your body through fasting. And it was just amazing, like the markers and the things and people who have cured cancer in 21 days of fasting and cured hepatitis C in 10 days of fasting. And there's this whole other philosophy out there that goes against what we've been told, that there's things that are incurable and there's nothing you can do about them. And it's like, the body is so miraculous and infinite intelligence is so miraculous that anybody can be healed from anything. I truly believe that. So we've been really deep diving, and I realized through this whole process, and I will definitely have my husband on so we can talk about this together. just the humbling and the vulnerability that he's experiencing through this is allowing him to step back and let people help him. And that is so big for him because he's always been this, I got to do it myself. It's up to me. And his team, our team at MDC, is stepping up, and they're, taking on more responsibilities to make the team better, and so many things that he's releasing to me to let me do. And he's really surrendering. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes something devastating to get us to surrender. And that surrender now is becoming an incredible growth point for him. So I will have him on, I promise. We talked a lot about doing a show together this next year. And now that we have the space and we have the microphones and we have the whole setup, we're going to bring you guys some really good stuff, some growth in spirituality and growth in, your physical body, growth in your business life. Like, we've got so many things going on that we want to share. My interior design classes and what I'm getting to do now in designing with people, designing my office, designing the podcast studio. We did a kitchen together. I went and helped a client redesign her home after a repipe situation, and she was so overwhelmed by all of her photos being on the floor, and we reimagined the whole place and painted furniture, and it was so much. I'm having a blast with it. I really am. And when I realized too, is this work that I'm doing, spreading these messages and bringing people to this knowledge and remembering, I can do that through design as well, creating beautiful spaces, bringing couples together that are, facing a remodel, whether it was planned or unplanned, getting people on the same page, creating a smooth transition, calming people down, making sure everybody feels included. Like, those are the gifts that I offer in the interior design space. So if you do live in Orange County or anywhere else, we'll fly around the world doing this, and you are interested in some design build services, mdcconstructionservices.com is at your service. I'll have to get the link for that. I don't have any links. This is a brand new wave video because my other one got shut down. So everything's new. Everything's brand new. And it's awesome. It really is. Excited. I'm excited for the next steps. I'm excited for new ideas with the show. I'm excited for guests. So much is happening and so much goodness is coming. So when you are considering law of attraction, when you are considering your role here, your massive role here in this life experience, don't forget that it's all an illusion. Like, I think it's really amazing that we run around so much trying to fit things into place and trying to make this money stuff, and like, that's not even real, and we don't even take it with us. And we give so much into the illusion that reality is all there is. And the truth is, reality is just a construct of what you've been thinking about. That's all reality is. It's not even real. It has the word real in it, but it's not real. And it's just a construct of all the thoughts, all the feelings, all the beliefs that you've had up until this moment right here. And the beautiful thing about that is you can change it at any time. But the challenge and the reason why most people don't do it is because it takes work. It takes focus. It takes attention. It takes remembering and going, oh yeah, that's right. I do create my own reality. And oh yeah, that's right. I'm not alone. I have the ability to connect with infinite intelligence and do these amazing things and create these amazing pathways and meet with the most amazing people and have opportunities come to me. I can command miracles. I can command amazing things happening every single day. I can do that. And whether I'm a true witness to that, whether I'm paying attention, whether it's a hawk that landed, this happens all the time, like a hawk that landed or flew right in front of me, or an owl. I heard an owl last night on the top of our chimney. Whether those are the little miracles that I recognize and I am grateful for is up to me. No one else is in charge of that. no one else is in charge of how I feel. It's really easy to be like, well, this person did this and this person made me feel this way. And the truth is, no one is making you feel anything. They're bringing stuff out of you. Yes. But you are tuned into that frequency with them, whether you're paying attention to what they're not doing right, or you're paying attention to, the behavior that you're not accepting, right? It all starts with you. You are the signal. Everyone around you is like a big, giant mirror, just reflecting back to you what you are feeling inside. And that is a really important thing to remember. So as I went through school, I realized some really, really hard lessons. I went through some really challenging times of feeling stupid, feeling like I didn't get it, feeling like I couldn't do math, feeling like I'm not good at drawing, feeling all of those feelings. I sat in class one day. So this was an architectural drafting class. The fact that I even signed up for this it's bonkers. It really is. Not something I ever thought I would do. It's math and it's drawing, and that's two of the things that I probably have avoided most in my life. But I decided to take the class because, first of all, I had to take the class to get to the next class. So it was like a prerequisite. I probably would have never chosen this. But what I realized as I was sitting in class, and I got in this really low place, and I was also taking Photoshop, and I wasn't understanding that either. And I realized that the anxiety and the fears and the feeling stupid was all a me thing, and that it was things that I needed to clear in order to get to the next space. So I had to go through that. I had to process that. I'm not perfect. I was actually quite shocked that this stuff was still coming up, that I was still having those like fears of not having the right answer. My teacher would call on us, and she wouldn't let anybody answer. She would make us find the answer. And when you didn't have the answer, it was rough because everybody was waiting and looking at you, and it was a lot. It was a lot. So one day I was like on the verge of tears for most of the class. And after that class, I had just had enough. I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to figure this out. And I remember coming back into my office. I would literally sit in my office for like 4 or 5 hours drawing. And sometimes I would get the drawing completely wrong and have to start over. In fact, there was one time I had to call my husband in because I was so distraught and I had messed up like 3 hours of work, and he had to help me fix it. I'm actually really glad that I have him to be able to help me with things like that. And then when I went back the second time and realized that I had messed something up while I was drawing and I was going to call on him, I was like, no, you're going to figure this out. You're going to fix it, and you're going to figure it out, because you're never going to learn if somebody keeps coming in and doing it for you. And there was a shift that happened in that moment. I got back into my power. I realized that when I let go of the anxiety, when I let go of the fear, when I let go of the I'm not good enough feeling, then new things can take place. So if you're going through that right now and you don't feel good enough, and you feel unworthy, and you feel undeserving, and you feel like you can't figure things out, just take a step back. Take a step back and decide. Once you take a step back and you get away from it for a little bit, come back to it and decide, I'm figuring this out. I am stronger than this. I am not alone. I have infinite intelligence on my side. Start calling on, architectural drafters in the sky. Like, that's what I did. I started calling on my angels. I started really believing and trusting that I was going to figure this out. And because of that, I ended up getting like an A in the class and enjoying drawing so much that like I would come into my office and time would stand still. I couldn't even believe it. I was like late to parties because I was drawing and I lost track of time. Like, that's how good it got. And it shocked me. It surprised me. And it was so great because that class, I actually learned how to read construction documents. There were so many things that, you don't know what you don't know. And as an interior designer, if you haven't taken classes like that to really expand your knowledge of like how things are built, then you're basically a decorator. or you're gonna make a contractor's life hell because you're gonna make designs that they can't actually build. So it's really important. Anything that you're, wanting to do or thinking about doing, just know it's going to be a journey, and you don't have the confidence until you actually go out and do something. So confidence is built through experience, and you have the ability to do anything. It's just setting your mind to it, deciding, working through the muck, getting through that sticky point where you're like, ooh, I think I'm going to look stupid, right? We're all learning. We're all growing. So the only one who's judging anyone is you, right? That judgment, that feeling of being judged is very much a you thing. And no one else is going to judge you if you take that judgment off yourself. So let's see, what else do I want to share? I'll share my little church story. So recently we've been wanting to find a church, and we started out at a Universalist church that actually my doctor had shared in a blog that she was going to this church, and it was quite a distance away. It was about 35 minutes away. And as much as I do like the Universalist philosophy, because they are very much about, law of attraction and the things that I believed, it doesn't feel as grounded in like rituals and sacredness and what I was interested. Like, it just wasn't meeting the mark for me. And the people that were there, as lovely as they were, they just didn't feel like our people. And one of the main reasons why we want to go back to church is community. Like, we just really are craving community. We've lived in California for 10 years. We don't feel like we found our community here. When your kids are out of school, it's a lot more challenging to find a community of people that you really love and want to spend time with and want to grow and share, your life with. So we went back to the Catholic Church because for a lot of reasons, I think it feels safe. It's one of those safe places for us. Like, we know what to expect, and it's very nostalgic for both of us. We raised our family in the Catholic Church. We had an incredible experience with the Catholic Church. Like, I converted when I was probably like 26 or 27 when I converted to Catholicism with a beautiful man. I've talked about Father George before. I just absolutely love this man. I was his favorite convert. He always called me his favorite convert. And we just really craved that again. So we visited a Catholic church in a couple towns over, and because a friend of ours went there, and we went a couple times. It was a really, really big church. It was beautiful. I did have, some experiences of like emotion there, and we went 3 times, and not one single person spoke to us 3 times. And this is a very, very big congregation. So it just wasn't feeling right. And I was really asking for a sign. I was asking for a home, someplace where we could really feel like we were home and really be surrounded by our people, people who we really connect with and resonate with. And, Catholicism isn't going to check all of my boxes. I'm not going to resonate with everything, but it does give me that feeling of ritual. It does give me that feeling of just sacred, it's just sacred to me. It really is. I definitely don't agree with everything. So anyways, you don't have to. And that's the cool thing, is you don't have to. This is your life, and you get to do what you want with it, and you get to take what works, and you get to like let go of the rest. And that's what I love about it, because it's my journey, my personal journey. So we went again on Saturday night, and I was very emotional Saturday night. I was like, I just kept weeping. Like, I had these tissues, and I just was like, the music was so beautiful. And I just was feeling like, and I just prayed, and I was like, okay, I really need to find the Father George of California, right? Because Father George was like my spiritual dad. Like, he was just the best, and his homilies were incredible, and they touched me every week. So we decided that the next morning, on Sunday morning, we would go to 2 different other churches. We were going to like church hop all weekend, because I'm like, I am determined to find the church that I love before Christmas, because I love to go to Christmas Mass, and I love to just, to me, it's just, there's nothing like that. It's like a big warm hug at Christmas time. And we're not doing Christmas with our family. We'll have our 2 girls at home, but we're actually all meeting for vacation on January 12th. So that's what we've decided to do. Instead of celebrating Christmas, we go on vacation. So, to make it feel special, Christmas Mass is something that is very special to me. We actually have been going to Christmas Mass all these years because we just love it. And we've been going to different churches and trying to find the right one. So anyways, I was like, I need to find the Father George of California. So we go to this church, and it's the next town over. It's in Laguna Beach, which you guys all know is like very special to my heart. Laguna Beach is something like out of this world. If you ever get to go, it's just such a special place. And when I'm there, I just feel so good. I can't even explain it to you. I feel like I'm home. We felt that way the first time we came to California, and we set our feet on the sand in Laguna Beach, and we were like, we're home. Like, we just felt it. I don't know if we had past lives here or what happened, but it's just so special. So we drive to this church. It's St. Catherine of Siena in Laguna, which is really interesting because when we were back in Connecticut, we always went to the town next to us, to their church. We never went to church in our town because we had already found this church the next town over, and those were our people. That was our community. So we always, drove 15 minutes to get to church. It was no big deal, but it was just always the next town over, which Laguna is the next town over from us. So I thought that was an interesting thing. So I'm like, asking for signs, as I do. And we get out of the car, and we're kind of walking around. We were there really early because parking is a little dicey in Laguna. And the first person we see is this older woman walking in with a cane. And she looks at us and she goes, hello, good morning. And then she just said the word beautiful. Like, she just said beautiful to both of us. And I was like, okay, this is a good start. Somebody actually acknowledged our existence, right? And then we went into the church and sat down, and it was beautiful. Oh gosh, I could just cry. I think it was beautiful. The church is it's old, it's small. It really reminded me of St. Teresa's back east that we grew up in. And it just felt good. And every single person who walked in said hello. The pastor there, Father Pat is his name, went around talking to people, blessing people, welcomed us. And then the priest who was actually doing the homily and the Mass came in, and he was kind of short and stocky, and he kind of looked like Father George that I knew before. And I was like, I looked at my husband and I said, I'm going to shit my pants if his name is Father George. And my husband was like, don't do that. You're wearing white pants. Don't do that. So we laughed, got through the Mass. It was beautiful. Everyone was so friendly, so nice, just really welcoming. And we went out, and sure enough, this priest's name was Father George. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. You know what I mean? And he wasn't Father George. He wasn't like Father George. In fact, the other guy, Father Pat, was more like our Father George. I can't wait to hear his homily because I feel like it's going to really connect. But I realized that that church is more than just the homily, even though I really love the messages, and I always love when a message resonates with my life, and then I feel like I'm in the right place. Going to church and being part of a community is really about your own spirituality. It's about what is nourishing you spiritually. What is making you, giving you that time, that presence, that peace, that connection to something bigger than yourself, bigger than this, what we can just see right here. The music was awesome. It actually reminded us, it was a male cantor, but he really reminded us of someone that used to sing at St. Teresa's. It was a woman. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the man of that woman. It was pretty amazing. Just very theatrical and an amazing singer. And, it's just like when you know, and I just felt like we were home. So what a beautiful journey. It's still unfolding. I don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely feel guided, and I feel supported. And my husband and I both feel better. Like, we just feel better. Like, we feel purposeful, and we feel like we're not just like flailing about. And I think sometimes when we get into this life of law of attraction, and let me know if this is true for you, but when we get into law of attraction and science and creating and all of that, sometimes we lose, the spirituality part of it. And that's what this show has always been about. It's always been about aligning the science with the spiritual. And I have not been shy about sharing the spiritual side of it. So to be able to spend time in our spirituality, like designated time every week in our spirituality, we both are just so ready for it. And it could be our age. It could be just the fact that we've had a lack of community. I'm not sure, but if it's calling to you, go looking for it, go searching for it, and ask for the right, the right path for you. Because otherwise, what are we doing? Right? What are we doing here? We're just flailing around trying to figure it out. And it's like anything that can give us guidance and support and love really needs to be cherished and really needs to be incorporated into our daily lives. I think that is really, really special and important. So hopefully you're understanding my message. If you don't, it's okay. I totally get it. There's so much change happening inside of me right now that I don't even know that I can fully describe it, because I just feel different. I feel like my heart is bursting open, and I am much more willing to receive things that I was rejecting before that could actually enhance my life. Like, being able to like focus on things like this. So it's a really good thing. And I will always be an avid believer and supporter of the science of attracting. I will always be into energy and the manipulation of energy and what we can do to live our lives more energetically. But I won't do that while discounting that there's this infinite intelligence. Like, I just really want to bring that home today to you, that there is this infinite intelligence at work, and we can partner in more significant ways. And I think that that's what this is about. It's about partnering in more significant ways that allows us to really, really bond, like really connect with faith and trust. Like, when you have faith and when you trust, it's like a whole new world is born inside of you, because you're no longer in these lower, denser fields of anxiety and fear and fighting and flighting and all of that. You're in the beautiful, precious, infinite, intelligent miracle that you were born to be. And I think anything that we can do to solidify more of that, to live more of that, to be involved in more of that is amazing. And that's why I want to do more meditations. I want to spend my time in this next year really facilitating more of this message that we all need, that it's okay, that it's going to be okay, that you're okay. You can lighten up. You can let go a little bit. You can free yourself. Don't get in a position where you need to have a major injury to become vulnerable and to let go a little bit, right? Let's just get to the point where we're a little calmer. We're a little more assured that everything's going to work out. And let's share those messages with other people so that we can all be these beacons of peace and calm and knowing and trust and faith. Like, when you have this belief, when you have this really strong knowing, I have such a strong knowing and a belief right now that we are in the perfect place for amazing, incredible, miraculous things to come. When you walk around like that, you influence the field, man. You influence the field around you. And then every person, every interaction, everything that's in front of you becomes this wonderland of, wow, that's so cool. You can't make this up. When you get so excited like that and you're like, there's no accidents. Like, this is an orchestration. My mind has been blown so many times. That Father George thing, let me just tell you, that one blew me away a little bit. It really did, because it just made me realize like the power that we have to call on this infinite intelligence or this orchestration or this non-physical support team. Father George, La Liberté was his name. He he passed like shortly after COVID. He was in his 80s. And do I have faith that he is with me? 100% I have faith that he is with me. 100%. No doubt. Makes me cry. Okay. So you have the same abilities. You have the same exact connections. And when you facilitate that, you'll get these miracles. The other night I had a dream. This was wild. I had a dream. So I've been really calling on passed away loved ones. I've just been really interested. I'm not interested in like being a medium or anything like that. I'm just interested in connection, because I know that when we're not in grief, when we're not in deep grief over people, that we can connect with them, that we can feel them, that they can show us things. So I've really been like connecting with my father-in-law who passed several years ago, and couple other people, just, my grandma and grandpa have really, really been like on my heart lately. And I had a dream the other night of my friend Jason. Now, Jason died a year ago. Did not know Jason's anniversary at all. And I woke up and I told my husband about it. And I was just like, I wonder when he passed, because I really feel like he visited me. Like whenever you dream about a passed away loved one, I really do feel like that's a visit from beyond. I really do. Because you're in a higher state of consciousness. So then they can reach you. So my husband's like, I don't remember. And I said, yeah, and I can't find the chat. I used to be in the group chat of what was, his family and stuff. And sure enough, one day later in the chat, there was discussion of his anniversary, which was December 15th. And I had a dream about him on December 13th. And I was like, you can't make this up. Like, there's no way that was a coincidence. Like, that was wild. This man, as far as I can remember, I have known him since I was 14 years old, has never come into my dreams. I don't think even when I knew him that I ever had a dream about him. So definitely feel like Jason is with me. And that's pretty special. Yeah, he was very special to us. So you can do that. You can connect with non-physical, you can connect with your passed away loved ones. But if you're really super duper in grief, if you're really, really sad and you're missing them, you'll continue to miss them. It's just the law of attraction thing, right? Like you put up blocks to connection with them, to signs from them. You got to open up your field. You got to realize that we are all part of this non-physical stream and that we have connection to everyone, that there is no death. You have to get to the point where you really believed that. When my father-in-law passed, he had Lewy body dementia, and he had stayed with us for a few months before COVID. So, we got to be with him every single day, and it was a really special and beautiful time. When he passed, I didn't necessarily cry. And I could cry right now. It's very easy to cry when I think about him, just because we had a beautiful relationship. So my kids love him so much. In fact, my daughter, who is getting married, so excited. My daughter met, I think you guys have probably seen him on one of my shows, one of my very last shows. It might have been my second to last show. We were talking about mushrooms. Nick Hoyt, he is actually marrying my daughter in April, and they're getting married on my father-in-law's birthday. She had a very special relationship with my father-in-law. My granddaughter had an incredible relationship with him. We were looking at videos the other night, and when she was like a 2-month-old baby, her face would light up when he was around. She just adored him. They have a very special thing. So I think about him often, and I think about, I just, that we have this ability to connect with our passed away loved ones and how special that is. And when he died, I said, good for you, Poppy. Good for you. And I said that because he was afraid to die. He told me many times that he was afraid to die. And he always said too, like he was like 70, I think he was 75 when he died, that he was always, every day was a gift because he didn't think he would live that long. He survived a heart attack. He survived a quarter of his lung being taken out from lung cancer. Like he was a survivor, and he lived his life to the fullest at the end because he knew that every single day was a gift, and we can live our lives the same. So I just said, good for you, Poppy. Good for you, because he was afraid to die. And he did it. He did it. He was afraid, but he did it. And that was pretty cool because he was definitely going towards some very challenging times of having dementia and having to have people take care of him. And he passed before it became really, really challenging for his family to take care of him. So it was a beautiful thing. So when it comes to your journey, your spiritual journey, your real, true life's journey here, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you living your dreams? Are you just getting by? Are you super miserable? You gotta take stock, and then you gotta make some changes. You gotta decide what you want to do, and you gotta take a hold of your own frequency and decide every morning, how am I going to start this day? What is going to be different today than it was yesterday? Am I going to wake up feeling the same? Am I going to wake up worried? Am I going to wake up frustrated? Am I going to wake up talking about my problems? You know, every time you talk about your problems, you put the key in the door of more problems. That's what you do. So instead, take the key out of the door. Don't walk through that door anymore. Decide that things are working out for you. Facilitate the solutions by letting go of the problems, by no longer talking about them. I brought something up to my husband. Oh, this was funny this morning. I was in a pretty high place this morning, pretty high. And lately I've been doing sauna in the morning at the gym. And apparently, if you sauna for 20 minutes, it detoxes like a month of toxins out of your system. And I've been really into that. Actually took all my nail polish off. I've been using super high quality products, and my kids have gotten me on this train of, just cleaning all the toxins out of the house. And I was sitting in the sauna and, just sweating and doing some affirmations, commanding the universe, to my body to be vital, my digestion to be on board, for Michael's shoulder to heal, just like all of these, I'm calling them in. I'm calling in abundance. There's no one in the sauna with me. I'm just by myself and I'm just chatting it up. And I came out and I was just high. And then I was listening to some Florence and some affirmations and just feeling great. And then I had a little thing with my daughter. I had breakfast, and then I was meeting my husband. And like I said, I came to the office with this huge, happy, joyful smile on my face. And I'm like, God, that's such a good way to start your day. And then I walked in and all these people were here at our office and just hugs and kisses and oh my gosh. And this woman was like, you are such an angel. And I was like, I feel angelic today. Like I just feel high. And we all have the ability to do that. We all have the ability to say, you know what? No matter what happens today, it's going to be great. So we're walking in and I said to my husband, oh, our neighbor texted me that the pod in the tree, this is a thing. Twice a year, she texts us. There's a pod in our palm tree that dumps on her. They dump the seeds all over her yard. So she wants us to take care of it. And it's like a couple $100 every time we have to do it. And I thought about asking her to pay for it because I was just like, this is crazy. So I brought it up to my husband and he's like, no, don't do that. Why are you going there? Don't go there. And I'm like, you're so right. He's like, don't ruin this moment. Right. So I let it go. And then a little while later, I text her. I said, of course, we'll take care of it. Sure enough, I text the tree guy and he's like $100. And I was like, nice, done, boom, right? Used to be a couple hundred. I don't know why it's only 100. I'll take it because I put myself in a different frequency, right? I'm not going to argue over $100. That's easy peasy, right? So just let it go, man. Let it go. Be easy about life. Love the people you're with. Love yourself. And connect with more time in the spiritual, more time going within. My meditations have been so incredibly deep, so deep. Getting into this like heart-centered, your heart has its own field of energy. So the more love you can feel, the more you can get into that heart space, the better off you're going to be. You're literally raising your frequency to one of the highest places you can be in. And listen to those messages that do that help you to remember. I have over 200 episodes reminding you of who you are. So you can always go back and listen to more. Apparently 24 countries are listening. Let me give you my stats. Not to brag, but just to give you like an indication of I've been podcasting for 3 years. My views they're fine. They're nothing to write home about. But when you read stuff like this, it really makes you go, what? 24 countries. The top 5 countries that my show is listened to is Ireland, United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Argentina, and the US. My show is listened to longer than 89% of the shows. What? More comments than 78% of the shows, and more shares than 90% of the shows. And I'm in the top 25% of videos watched on Spotify. Yeah. So, great. Thank you all. Thank you for making this special. It's weird when you podcast because you don't have a lot of engagement. You don't really know if people are listening, but I have to believe that these messages matter. And thank you for reaching out to me if you have, because it really does make a difference. And we recently took some personality profiles and found out that this girl is an influencer, and what that means is I need recognition, apparently. I need people to recognize me and make me feel like I matter. And it's not that I need people to make me feel that I matter, but that's like my love language, right? And it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right mission. And that does matter. So I'm excited to bring you guys some new stuff. And maybe next week, I don't know if we're going to wait until after the first of the year to start doing this. I'm not sure. I really just want to get back into it. I realized I was trying to do a reel the other day that you do get out of practice. And now I'm like, whoa, doing videos is a lot harder than I remember. Right. But this was easy. I always have a good time here, sitting by myself and sharing all this stuff that's coming through. But I love you all, and I appreciate you, and you make a difference by listening to this, by taking in the messages, by sharing them with other people. You make a difference, because these are high vibrational remembrances, we'll call them. Like, once we remember this stuff and we really keep it at the forefront, then our life really does unfold quite magically and miraculously. And we can give all the glory to ourselves, and to the fact that we are, expressing that infinite intelligence and expansion through our very own being and through our own willingness to do that, to be here, to expand, to grow, to look at challenges and go, whoo, okay, let's go. Let's get this done. Let's figure this out. Let's get after it, And the better attitude you can have, the more you can keep shifting into solution mode, and the more you can walk in faith and trust, the better your life will be, and the better everyone's life that comes in contact with you will be. All right. I love y'all. Peace out.